This Pitch Breakfast video is brought to you by Spangler & Agins, attorneys for Charlotte's startup community.
So Leaf Burrito. Leaf Burrito is a reusable system that eliminates plastic bags from the yard waste system. We've got Leaf Burrito right here. This is manufactured in Charlotte. It was invented in Charlotte by the owner of the company, a guy named Mark Mateas, a serial entrepreneur and inventor. And this is a 5-foot bag. It's been approved by the city of Charlotte for pickup. And you use it just like you use your recycling container. It lays felt flat. This is patent protected. It zips open, lays flat, and you can rake your leaves into it, zip it up just like a burrito. You haul it down to your curb. See, it lays flat if you get it all the way zipped out. Lays flat. You go ahead and rake your leaves into it. You put your grass clippings, your weeds, anything that you have in yard waste. It zips closed like a burrito. You drag it down to the curb, and when Charlotte Solid Waste comes to pick up your trash and your recycling and your yard waste, they pick it up, they unzip it, they dump it into the back of their truck, and then they throw this back into your lawn. So what it does is it reduces plastic bags. You guys have read about it. The Charlotte Observer just did a huge story about plastic waste, how China's no longer taking our recyclables. There's a huge global crisis with where to put this waste. And what Leaf Burrito does is it eliminates the use of those plastic bags. So I say we're saving the planet one plastic bag at a time. The problem we have here in Charlotte is that we have a dual system. City picks up the waste in your plastic bags when you leave them at the curb. They take it down to the county. The county does not accept plastic bags. So the city dumps them down at Compost Central, and there are day laborers that walk through leaves and trash. They take box cutters, they slash open the plastic bags, they gather all the plastic bags, those go into the landfill, and then the leaves go into the composting heap. That's what happens now. Leaf Burrito eliminates that step. So we have leaves that go directly to Compost Central and eliminates 6 tons of plastic bag waste per year. Leaf Burrito fits into the city's, one of the city's primary goals, which is to become a global leader in environmental sustainability. This is directly off the city's website, and this is one of their stated goals, is to be environmentally friendly. We're currently working with the city of Charlotte to get this to be just like you're issued your garbage can and your recycling container, that you're issued a Leaf Burrito as well, to get rid of this problem. These are jurisdictions across the globe that have adopted no plastic bags. Charleston, to the south, has a no plastic bag ordinance. There's no plastic bags in yard waste. So this is a global trend of replacing single-use plastic bags with something that can be used over and over again. Our value proposition is that we promote environmental sustainability. It can be used in a number of different sources, but this is one small thing, low tech, that can help benefit our overall economy. Again, Charlotte wants to become a global leader in sustainability. We believe the city of Charlotte, by adopting Leaf Burrito and having it be issued to all our citizens, number one, it supports a local business, startup company, which is great for the city of Charlotte to do. It shows that Charlotte is innovative and progressive in figuring out how to solve environmental problems, and it really is a solution for our city. It will allow us to lead by example, and also for the city of Charlotte shows a collaborative effort in trying to solve a community problem. Leaf Burrito further enhances Charlotte as a city brand. We're known as a green city. We've got this green canopy. There's a lot of investment by our arborists in making sure that we're green and we do green things. By having Leaf Burrito adopted citywide helps further the brand that Charlotte's known. And again, as I say, it promotes a local startup business. It was invented here, it's manufactured here. We've got this great product that fits in with our brand, and there's no reason why it should not be adopted citywide. Right on time.
Thank you. Lori, great job on the on the presentation. Got lots of questions, but I want to start out with what I thought you did exceptionally well. So loved the demo, right? The ability to actually see what the thing looked like as opposed to talking about it in the abstract was really good, and you explained it very well. And I've got that problem. When I do this, I typically take a tarp and drag the tarp down to the bottom, and then my neighbors complain about the tarp. But anyway, it is what it is. So I do understand the problem. Couple of questions for you that I think are important here. We know one another. I'm an economist by training, so that colors the way I think, frankly. And when I look at this, you got an interesting problem here, right? Because the problem is there's a cost to doing this, right? And then there's a benefit. And I was struggling during the presentation. I think you got to it at the end of who's going to pay for this, right? And it sounded like it was the city, right? You were going to charge the city. The city was going to basically give it to the residential, residents, just like we do with the recycle containers, right, and the garbage pickup. But then the benefit here was to the company that the city or the county had hired that would go through with the laborers, right, that were slicing open the bags.
Which is the city.
It is the city.
Yeah,
is
the
the
city
employer.
that's doing
Okay, so the cost and benefit are actually then for the city itself. So one thing that I would do on your presentation is make that a little clear. And then the other piece here, again, I would wanted to drill, and I know you only had 5 minutes, but I'd want to drill a little bit down into kind of the cost, right? How much does it cost, and relative to the problem you were solving, and did the economics make a lot of sense? The other comment was. It's kind of interesting, and I know you're a lawyer, so I'm 100% certain that you've actually patented and so forth, but kind of interesting that you can patent something like that. But
yeah, there's utility patents and design patents on it. One of the patents is the fact that it lays flat, totally flat, and zips up. And then there's the mesh is actually a particular kind of mesh that was invented for the product, that strength, and so we've got a patent on the mesh itself.
Cool. And then the one last point, and I'll hand it over to my fellow panelist here, is it wasn't clear during your presentation what your role is with the company.
Fair.
So.
Yeah, similar to Dan, the value prop, you had 40 words up there on a slide. I'd say stop, don't ever do that. So too many words, right? So I would say if you guys are going to go out and present in these kind of quick pitch formats, because this is a good practice format, but the 5 to 10 minute pitch is a thing. Like, you could probably be at a trade show or a conference or a convention, and someone will be like, hey, we'll give you 10 minutes, get up in front. So I'd say there's probably two types of pitches. There's the visual pitch, which you're doing here, and then there's the here's my executive summary, sit down and read pitch. The sit down, read pitch, don't use 40 words to explain the value prop, but you could probably use 20. The visual just starts flashing words. The other thing I'd recommend on the visual kind of 5 to 10 minute format, and this is getting super mechanical about how you use your pitch time, is here's what I'm here to do. Like, I wasn't sure if you were going to get to we want $2 million to build a manufacturing line, or I wasn't sure if you're here to basically ask for access to policymakers and influencers around, kind of sustainability and green. So saying that up front then kind of gets me as the audience member to be like, now I can lock in. Or if I don't think that's relevant to me, I kind of move on.
Do I respond to your questions directly, or do I wait till you're done at the end?
I think you can wait, or I don't care.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
To respond to the first question here, I'm working with, I'm a lawyer, sports entertainment lawyer. We handle a lot of startup companies. Leaf Burrito is one of my clients, but I've also been retained as their chief operating officer to help launch this product. It's totally self-funded to date. Founders invested over $250,000 in getting the product ready. He's not looking for investors. He wants to own it. He wants to control his own destiny, and I support that. What we're looking for today is, number one, for people to be aware of Leaf Burrito. You can buy it right now. It's manufactured. You can buy it right now at leafburrito.com. They're also for sale at Blackhawk Hardware. So those are two things. We're working with neighborhoods to try to roll out the product. We actually received a City of Charlotte neighborhood matching grant for the Bright Walk neighborhood, which is up in Camp North End, for those of you familiar with it. We're actually going to be rolling out a pilot program. We're calling it a beta hood, where of the 330 residents that are up in Bright Walk, we have 220 volunteers, and we have funding for 220 bags to roll it out, and we'll be working with the city Rob Focus, who's the Chief Sustainability Officer for the city, we've been working with him to do this test program in the hopes of getting the city to adopt it citywide.
Cool.
That's our goal.
So there you go. Like, so there's, I would say, like, I
should've
always
said that.
I always say this. I think I've said this every breakfast I've
should
been
be at the
to.
front.
It's like I wrote this paper in college my freshman year, and my professor was like, the last sentence of your paper is where you should start. So
Right.
start and rewrite the thesis.
fair.
You just nail the thesis. Now.
That's totally fair.
So rewrite, yeah, so there you go. And then the other thought, based on what you just said, would be in these kind of forums, not just the practice forum, but the whatever you're doing out in the public, I would actually make the ask more deliberate or more specific. So maybe if you guys have started to thinking about like social media or the use of more social media, viral media, to try to like get the word out to get some adoption. Because what you're really, I think, asking for is us to leave here and kind of espouse a cool idea and kind of bring it to the community.
Exactly.
So
It's
that-
awareness.
Yeah, that kind of helps wrap it up, I think, in terms of like what the ask is. And I'd be more specific as well about founder-led, don't need money, you know, like at Rob Focus, City of Charlotte, just do the name dropping thing up front, maybe even show a picture of like someone actually raking the leaves and just kind of gets us there. And then the one nit I would throw in there would be just get a little bit more quantifiable on the 6 tons of plastic impact. Like I see a lot of, actually most of my investing right now is around clean energy and sustainability. So it all has to get translated into common denominators,
Yep.
right? And that's ultimately what everyone wants to know is how does this ladder into reduction, cost-benefit analysis. So, but great stuff. Very cool.
Great, thank you.
And just a quick follow-up, couple of extra points based on what Mark said. So I wrote down, you said saving the planet one plastic bag at a time. I love that as sort of a throwaway line, right? So I would get that out early and kind of make the point. On the funding and not requiring funding, by the way, and all of you in the audience should listen to this, the best way to fund a company is actually with revenue. Right? It's, yeah, I can't tell you how often I get asked about investors and VCs, and the answer for me is always the same. That's the most expensive money you will ever go find. Right? So to the extent that you can actually bootstrap and bring a product to market without venture funding, and it's kind of interesting to say this in a forum like this, is the best way to actually do it. And then one last point. So there's a gentleman back in the corner that Vic introduced from Charleston.
Yep.
And one of the pieces that I was missing from your presentation is how do I scale this up, right? Well, you're starting in Charlotte, where are you going next, right? So I
Great
would
idea.
spend a little more time on that.
Yeah.
But great job on the presentation.
Did you tell us how much it is? I don't.
It's $100.
$100, okay,
And
yeah.
our cost in it right now, because we're small, because
Yeah.
we don't have a huge volume, cost is $61 per bag.
Okay.
And we're working with the manufacturer in Monroe, and we've sourced the product in Hong Kong, the pieces, and then it's put together and manufactured down in Monroe. And how we scale, the scale is, and it's interesting because we debated about this, where do we start? Do we launch in Charleston, which already has a no plastic bag ordinance, and then we can sell it through there? But we don't have the support of Charleston. They haven't approved it for pickup. We've worked really hard with solid waste over the past year and a half, and we've trained all of the solid waste workers. They recognize Leaf Burrito, they know what to do with it, and we've got the support of the head of Charlotte Solid Waste to go ahead and service it. So if you took this home today and you put it at your curb, when they come, they'll do it, and we've tested it all across the city. Our goal was, we said, let's start at home. We're here, the company's based here, let's create jobs, let's contribute to the taxes, let's do something favorable for our city, and let's start at home. So once we get we get our pilot program done and we roll out in the Charlotte city and we have success. Our founder was actually up in Durham yesterday meeting with solid waste in Durham, and he's meeting today with solid waste in Raleigh. Raleigh actually is more receptive to the product than our own home here in Charlotte. I don't think anybody's really surprised about that. But so we want to start here at home, and then as we have successes, roll it out. Our goal will be to roll it out in places that already have a no plastic bag ordinance for yard waste. We don't have one here in Charlotte. We've talked about doing that, but that, as you know, getting anything passed in an ordinance takes a long time, and we just want to sell it. We want to create revenue. So that's it.
Cool.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, so my question is it easier to use than plastic bags? And if so, I would show them a little video. It seems like the product will either succeed or fail. If it's better than a bag, people will use it. If it's worse than a bag, I don't think they ever will. well. So you talked a lot about, you know, saving the planet, but will the product make life easy?
It does, and we do have a video, and I can show it, where you can put about 4 plastic bags worth of leaves or grass clippings in this, and it's easier to stuff because it lays flat, and you just rake it on and zip it up. So I use it in my yard, and I love it, absolutely. But that's a very good point.
Definitely show that.
Yep. Yes. Oh, we're done. Okay. We gotta move on. Here you go.
Thank you so much. All right, ever heard, ladies and gentlemen?